Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of the Paperhats Survival Multiplayer server. My name is Glitch. Well, today we are going to be looking at setting up a shop here in the land of Talaria to help contribute to the server. Now off camera, I went ahead and built up a small sugarcane farm because we bought the gunpowder in the last episode, and this will allow me to get some papers so that I can start generating rockets of my own. But as I said, today we're going to work on gathering stock and hopefully opening up a simple maybe booth for the shop. And then as time goes on, if it works out, expand the business a little bit. Now, looking around the shopping district, a lot of the shops we have are awesome. But one thing I noticed that we seem to be lacking is any source of fuel. Now, while I can stock coal that I mine, I also want to look at things like renewable energy. It's one of those odd things that Redstone is an infinite power source, but that's not going to cook your food in this game. So I decided that we're going to work on putting in a renewable energy store. Now, my idea is to basically stock things like charcoal, kelp blocks, possibly bamboo, and maybe even some lava buckets. Now, one of the things I want to start with is the charcoal, which is why I've got these jungle saplings that we bought last time planted around here. One of the other things I bought was a Fortune 3 book, and we were able to put that on a hoe, so I've been growing these in singles to generate more saplings. And once we do that, we'll be able to do the 2x2 jungle trees, and I also did some searching and found a couple of spruce trees so that we can have the 2x2 spruce, and therefore we can have a hopefully renewable source of wood and therefore renewable source of charcoal. Now, right now, I am working on manual harvesting because, well, to be honest, right now we need the saplings. And you know what? I'm going to have to jump up there and get the saplings. And that's high enough. Because I don't want to burn through what we have and then run out of saplings, because though we also have a dark oak forest roughly in that direction that I've been also hitting, you will get generally from one of the really tall jungle trees or spruce trees, you'll get almost a stack of wood per tree. And more of those. So we're going to start there, and once we have the generator set up, then we'll move on to the kelp. Now, to get a hold of all the materials we need for the different projects we have today, I think it's time to make a delivery of sand so that we can buy some bone blocks from Jan. And then also, I'm going to look at possibly, yes, possibly, getting my first beacon. This should be interesting. So right now, I'm going to go ahead and grab a little sleep, and let's go ahead and grab ourselves some sand. Oh, I love Efficiency 5. There's a temple over there. I wonder if anybody's been in that one yet. Let's take a look. Ooh, and a village over there. Check that one out too, but later. Anybody home? Quick. Well, let's take a quick here and see what's down here. Gunpowder. Spider eyes. Oh. More gunpowder. Finally, some gold. And some gunpowder. Yeah, not the greatest, but 3 chests. Well, it ain't the greatest loot in the world, but hey, I'll take it. Now, back to our delivery. Hold on. Something just occurred to me. I cannot believe I almost forgot the TNT. And delivered. And pick up a beacon. Now that we have all the materials we need, it's time to set the beacon up and start chopping some trees. I also need to look at setting up a kelp farm and an auto smelter so that we can start producing kelp blocks, but I think I'm going to start with the charcoal generator. Now, because this is kind of grindy work, I think I'm going to do most of this off camera. So, I will be right back. Well, that didn't produce like I thought it would. Originally, I thought about using a nano farm like this one from Logical Geek Boy. It's an awesome farm, and it really pumps out the kelp using bone meal to bone meal the kelp, and then grow it up in. And well, I mean, it gives us a lot of kelp for a small space. But if I'm going to start selling to the server, I think I'm going to have to get a lot more than that going on. So I think it's time to look at doing things a little bit bigger. There we go. That is a lot more like it. Alright, so I had to go much more old school with the kelp farm. It's bigger, it's bulkier, but my goodness, does it pump out the material. I definitely want to use that nano farm, possibly in my single player world since I just found a skeleton spawner close by the base, but, well, this does go to prove that sometimes you have to go old school. So we have our kelp in place, and this is actually 3 rows of 15. So that's 45 kelp plants putting out the kelp. And I went ahead and set up an auto smelter. I'll load that here in a second. But I mean, it's a classic design that's been used time and time again. Now, as far as other renewable fuels, I also decided that since bamboo also grows pretty fast, I installed a simple bamboo farm on the back end of the building to use some of the space that wasn't being used. And it's basically just a case where you've got the bamboo, there's a bunch of plants there, and when the last one grows in front of that observer, it'll send a signal down, which will then send first off, break the bamboo, but also I've got a hopper minecart down there that'll run along under the ground and come in so that we can pick it up safely in here. And even with the few hours that I've been AFKing for the kelp, we've already gotten a decent amount of bamboo. The only other thing that I'm thinking of using for fuel, aside from the bamboo and the kelp blocks and charcoal, which we'll get to in a second, is lava buckets, which, to be frank, that is going to be just the good old-fashioned finding lava pools and transferring them into lots of buckets. But let's go ahead and take a look at the tree farm. For the charcoal, I've been harvesting a large amount of these 2x2 jungle trees since we found jungle saplings at the Jungle Emporium. I've been growing these because they can grow up to 40 blocks tall, as you can see. And I know that they do have one of the lowest sapling drop rates in the game, but the nice part is now that we can use a hoe to increase that and enchant it with fortune, we can hit the leaves, and even though we've got a really low drop rate, I've been gaining more saplings with each tree, which has basically allowed me to generate plenty of charcoal. And this the charcoal generator I'm using is a really ingenious design. I found this through Eagle Eye 21. Uh, it's really compact, but it works incredibly well. And let's go ahead and... Oh, how did those get in there? Whoops. Let's go ahead and we'll start it up. You want to kind of offset it. There we go. Now this will basically just burn those down, and then each one will will go into the hoppers, which then go into a couple of droppers for a droppervator, but then the comparator will just fire them up through, bring them to this back dropper, which I've already moved them into the chest in the storage area, but then the hoppers down here have some filler and charcoal, which keeps it constantly in this loop, so eventually it'll back up. So let's go ahead and drop the rest of this in here, and that can keep cooking up. Now the one disadvantage to fortuning all of these jungle saplings is, even with a diamond hoe, yeah, I'm burning through the durability. I've spent lots of time at the ender repairing this hoe, so I never thought the day would come where I had to do this in Minecraft, but yeah, I went into the nether, I got some netherite, and call me crazy, but because I need the durability, I think the first netherite tool we're going to have is... a netherite hoe. And, you know, I didn't expect the notification to pop up for the advancement on that, but you know what? I'll take it. All right. Now that we've got all of our farms going and everything's going, I need to go ahead and smelt up that kelp. And the nice part about also with the charcoal is I can run the super smelter off of our charcoal. But now that we have all of our farms up and running, it's time to smelt everything up. And then we're going to head to the shopping district and find a spot to set up shop. I'll meet you there. Energy. There we go. All right. So my original plan was to get everything smelted up and drag it all over here, but I realized that that's going to take multiple trips due to the fact that no matter how many shulker boxes I try and drag over here, we've got a lot of stuff to move over here and get set up. But I think we're going to go ahead and set up shop here on one of these new custom islands that got built. It's right off of the dock where we have Space Dust, the Potion Shop, Bastion Boys. You can just see my Kia off in the distance as my render distance is apparently set a little too low. But I think since this is kind of the entrance to our harbor and the bay here where we have our shopping district, I think what we really need to do is to set up a beacon of light to invite people in and also to invite people out here to get some renewable furnace fodder. So I think we're going to go ahead and tackle trying to set up a lighthouse. So let's get started. And we're back. Now that we've got everything set up here at Habor Light Renewable Fuel, I went ahead and ran back to base and grabbed some of the items for stocking the shelves. So let's go ahead and take a quick tour of the build. Now, one other thing that I do have to mention is the fact that in the time lapse, this bridge sort of appeared out of nowhere. That is because that was not my work. One of the other server mates came along and built this. The lighthouse itself was a multi-day project, but someone went ahead and built this bridge over here. So I really appreciate that because it connects this into the shopping district. But now that we have the lighthouse all set up, and kind of a path going in here, let's go ahead and take a look inside. Now, just for crowd control and also for to keep creepers out of here, I also took a few minutes to run to a village and, hire ourselves an office cat. So, since this is a lighthouse and we have our first employee here, I thought it would be fitting to name our cat Pharos, after the lighthouse in Alexandria in ancient times. Yes, I admit it, I'm a history nerd. But basically, here in the main part of the shop, we've got our 4 different types of fuel with the charcoal, the lava buckets, the kelp blocks, and the bamboo. I decided to be fun to also add in a couple of lecterns with some fun facts about the different types of fuel that we're offering, just for the fun of it. Now, one other thing I decided, since the shop itself is just going to take up this space here on the bottom floor. However, though we can stock a full double chest of each, it would be convenient to have a little more storage space. So if we come behind the counter here, right next to Pharos' thing of cat treats, I decided to go ahead and add in some space upstairs. We just put that in. We can go upstairs. And then we've got some storage space for extra items and, it looks like I still need to do some cleanup. But extra items, extra stock. And then, going up, I haven't decided what to do with this floor yet. So this is still a work in progress. I just went ahead and spawn-proofed it. But lastly, the other thing I did was I made a little bit of a bedroom up here, because I cannot tell you how many times that I have come here to the shopping district, done some work, put down a bed to skip the night, broke the bed, stopped at the end, and then jumped into the end portal and wound up back at spawn. So this at least gives us the option to have a little home away from home here in the shopping district. And then up above we have just a little bit of a maintenance area for our redstone. And all this is a series of observers that are running into one another, and then on top of each one of those is an observer facing either upwards for the bottom layer or downwards for the top layer. And the thing of it is, if you look up there, you'll notice that the lights still go, and that is because, thanks to quasi-connectivity, the redstone signal will travel down through 2 of the lamps at once, so it allows for that continuous loop to go on. So now that we have Habor Light all set up and ready to go, it's time to start doing some exploring around the server. I wanted to get a shop going because, well, to be honest, it seemed like a good thing to do and a better way to make diamonds and contribute to the server. But also, it seemed like a fun project to just dive in and have some fun here on Paperhats. But I still want to see more of what's in our local area at the Shattered Savannah. So next time, we're going to explore the world around us and see what adventures lie right outside our door. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a like, and also consider subscribing if you want to see more content like this. My name is Glitch, and I do hope I'll see you next time for the next episode on the Paperhats Survival Multiplayer server. Thanks for watching.